Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Coach Kyle, and today's video I'm going to talk about preventing sexual abuse in the gym or other youth sports activities. I'm Kyle Thalman, aka Coach Kyle. I'm a coach, was a gymnast, an engineer, a philosophizer. I invented the wizard coaching method, and if you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, subscribe to this channel, all that good stuff. So, getting into it. I'm doing this video because earlier, a couple weeks ago, I saw a Facebook post where it was asking what should be the consequences for a male coach threatening to tickle one of the athletes. And like half of the responses were like fired on the spot. And I'm like, wait a second, that philosophy is not only wrong, but probably dangerous, okay? So in light of the recent sexual scandal at the USAG, the whole Nasser thing, people have kind of gone over the top. What solutions to prevent this from happening again? And like the main ones, it's like, don't ever touch the kids ever. Like no physical interactions with the kids. I'm like, that's just not, one, it's not going to work, and it's probably bad for them in the long run. And then the other option was to talk to the kids about sexual abuse. And that one ain't going to work because you can't explain healthy physical interaction with a simple conversation to a 2 or 4 year old. And those are the ages that are the most important. Okay, for socialization, for humans, ages 2 to 4 is really, really important. That's the main, time that kids learn how to socialize with each other and adults and, learn those physical rules. It's like, hey, if I hit somebody in the face, that's wrong. Hey, if I slap them in the crotch, that's also wrong. Okay, they learn what's a healthy physical interaction and what's unhealthy, what's inappropriate. Another thing I'd like to point out with the don't interact with the kids physically, like limit all interactions, is that develops the kind of children that sexual predators target. Okay, if they've never had healthy physical interactions with other adults or other kids, then they're not going to know where those lines are. That's the perfect target for those sexual predators. That's what we don't want. We want kids that know what healthy interactions are and where the rules are. We have 3 solutions for this. First off, teach your coaches how to socialize the kids, okay? Especially your preschool coaches. Like I said, from 2 to 4 is an extremely important time frame for young kids to develop. Second thing is, have a system for your coaches keeping tabs on each other, okay? Like the 3-person rule is great. Have at least 2 coaches there. And then the last thing is, don't get yourself or your coaches into those bad situations where something could happen. Next question is, well, how do you socialize the kids? If you've seen my other videos, I've made reference to small children being similar to puppies. Pretty much the same thing. So how do you socialize a puppy? Well, you play with it, you get rough, and then when they bite you, which they're going to do because they're puppies, you yelp, and then you pull back and you stop playing with them for a little bit. You show your sad face, like, and then they go, oh, snap, I did something wrong. Because you took away the reward of being played with. They're like, what? How do I get back into this? And if you keep doing that every time they bite you, they stop biting you. I have a 70-pound German Shepherd, and I can get really physical with her. I'll slide her across the entire kitchen, and I'll put my hand right in her mouth, and she's just nibbles on it, but it doesn't break the skin. It doesn't hurt because I've socialized her this way. Okay, you could do the same thing with kids. You set up your class for the kids, your preschool class or your beginner class for gymnastics or whatever youth sport. You're like, all right, here's the rules. We're going to do this. And as soon as they break, do something that's socially unacceptable, inappropriate, you say, hey, stop that. We don't do that. That's inappropriate. And then you say, this is what you do. That way, they're like, oh, okay, I don't do that. I do this. Okay, you're not being mean to them. You're not being super harsh. You're not yelling at them in anger. You're just saying, whoa, to get their attention and get them to stop doing whatever behavior. So here's a quick list of physical interaction behaviors that are inappropriate. These should be pretty obvious, but I want to lay them out there for everybody to acknowledge. First off is touching the crotch, the butt, or the boobs. Okay, you shouldn't be doing that to them. They shouldn't be doing that to you. They shouldn't be doing that to each other. Also included for male coaches especially is don't let them sit on your lap. Inappropriate. Kissing of any kind or licking. Okay, if the kids are licking each other, you want them to stop. Or licking you, I hate when they do it. I'm like, stop it. Okay, if they're kissing each other, no, don't do that. I know a long time ago, back in the day, a coach would kiss the top of their heads. I'm gonna say, nah, we're gonna just eliminate all kissing. I think that's okay. No sensual stroking or petting. just not okay. Any punching, slapping, hitting, biting, any physical, violent kind of stuff like that. You're not doing karate, you're doing gymnastics. If you are doing karate, make sure they know when it's okay to hit and when it's not okay to hit. So any other physical interaction with the kids is fine in my book. If you want to play with them, grab them by the legs, hang them upside down, tickle them. As long as you're not hitting the crotch or the boobs or the butt, it's okay. Okay, it's a healthy, you don't want to hug them, you want to wrestle with them, that's fine. Okay, as long as you're keeping it, non-sexual and it's all healthy, play behavior. It's good for their development to teach them this. So here's some quick examples to try and make this a little bit clearer, because you can't inappropriately touch the kids to tell them what not to do. Okay, you have to wait for them to mess up and then you correct the behavior then. It sounds a little weird and you'll see. So if you've taught any preschool or beginner classes with little guys, they'll come up, they'll run up to you and try and hug you. And, just because of the size difference, their head is right on your crotch. It's just really awkward. Okay, so when that happens, I'm usually like, whoa, buddy, hold on. You can't do that. Just do this, raise your arms up and I'll come down to them and then, I can hug them, chest to chest. But if their face is in my crotch, that's unacceptable. So I say, hey, no, you can't do that. And then tell them what to do. Another example is a kid's trying to get your attention and they're just tapping you at eye level for them, but that happens to be your butt. You gotta be like, hey, stop that. Not appropriate. If you want my attention, tap my hand or my shoulder or pull on my ankle, something that's appropriate. So, you don't have to be mean. You just have to say, ha, stop it. Inappropriate. This is what we're gonna do. I know a lot of female coaches that get their chests groped by, the young ones all the time. The same things. Hey, no, stop that. It's inappropriate. This method of socializing is much more effective than trying to talk to a 4-year-old and say, hey, if this happens, you do this, okay? This is not an appropriate behavior. They don't understand that. What they do understand is if they hit your butt and then you freak out on them, they'll go, oh, that's an inappropriate behavior. And if I can't do it to him, other people also probably can't do it to me. Another thing you can do is watch the behavior between the kids, okay? I actually had to say this once in a class is quit grabbing his wiener. 5-year-old boys, that'll happen. It's crazy, but I was like, I can't believe I'm actually having to yell this. To me, it's crazy, but to them, they don't know any better, okay? But now it's wiener grabbing is off the table. It's an inappropriate behavior. They understand that now. Never happened again. All right, what if you're spotting and you accidentally hit, one of those areas? Well, that happens all the time. It's okay, just stop. Be like, hey, sorry, I hit your butt. I hit your chest. Didn't mean to. I was trying to spot. And then move on. Okay? Don't make it a big deal, but don't ignore it either. Okay? Because you don't want kids going home and being like, what happened in class today? Coach Kyle touched my butt. It's well, I was spotting a round off back handspring and accidentally out of one of the turns, I hit your butt instead of your lower back. It was on accident. You had a crazy round off. It's my bad, but I didn't do it on purpose. So you don't want the kids going home saying, he touched my butt. And then, you have that parent phone call. So you address it, say, sorry, I hit your butt. Didn't mean to. Move on. Next is to establish rules where it's not going to put your coaches in those problem situations. So never have a coach alone with a student. Okay. Do the 3-person rule. 2 adults, 1 kid. Or if it's 2 16-year-old kids and 1 coach, I'd accept that because, they're old enough to kind of figure things out. Don't have 1 coach, 1 kid alone ever. Don't drive them home from practice unless there's another coach in the car with you, if you're carpooling or something. Don't do sleepovers unless you have 2 coaches that are going to be awake the entire time. Or maybe 4 coaches and they take shifts, but you know what I mean. Okay, you can't have just everybody asleep and then 1 coach. That's not good. Also, I highly suggest having a camera system in your gym. Okay, it has all areas except for the bathrooms, but everything's well camera'd. You could be like, okay, he was just spotting, he accidentally hit your butt or your chest. No harm, no foul. You know what I mean? Also, don't have coaches be chaperones for away meets. Okay, if you're taking 3 kids and you're the coach and they're alone with you in a hotel, are you kidding me? That's just a recipe for disaster. Don't do that, okay? Coaches are not chaperones. Parents, you got to take your kids. So how to implement this in your own coaching style? Well, if you're the manager or gym owner, put these guidelines into your, code of conduct or your coach's handbook, whatever it is. These things, one, it's really important to teach this stuff to the coaches, and it's really important to help the kids develop, healthy, physical interactions between coaches and between each other. This is really important stuff here. If you're not in like a position of power, you're just a coach, take this video or like, some of these concepts to whoever does have the authority to kind of rewrite some of the curriculum in your gym. I understand the part where, people will be like, well, I just don't want to be sued by anybody because of accidental touching or something. If you have these reasons written down, this is why we do this. This is why we accept hugging of coaches to children, as long as it's not in a sexual nature or something like that. As long as you've written these rules down and everybody's clear on them and the reasons why, it's like we're doing this for the health of the kids, okay? So they can develop right. Question of the day, do you guys have any other, topics, advice, thoughts on this? It's really complicated. Everybody's freaked out about it. Everybody's like, it's really charged out there. So what do you guys think? Anyway, if this was helpful, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it on your Facebook or wherever you share it, Pinterest, whatever. I'm Coach Kyle. Rock on.